Happy Sunday, everyone. As I am driving, I want to try to do the intro to this video. And this is the next part of, I guess you could say, series of the laws of success. And if anyone is new to my videos, the laws of success mean just more or less what Mammon has used through the heart of the ideal man. The ideal man sets up financial laws that had eventually become immoral with a lot of people. And, a good example of this is just how if a guy likes a girl and he wants to marry, what would be said to him if his job was mediocre? What would be said to him not only by the woman that he loves, but also by her parents? What kind of judgments? So, this part in the laws of success is going to be, the topic is more or less saving and investing. It's not going to be, the focus isn't going to be so much on the investing part, but more or less the saving aspect of this particular laws of success that I want to eventually get into. I had stated in another video is that I really want to try to go more in depth, rather than, just talking about the main breadwinner and then not really give, deep aspects of that. So for this part of the series, I want to, really talk about the whole saving aspect, why we do it. What is the thinking that pushes us into saving? And so I'm really not going to try to give an answer to it yet, but it's more or less an exposing of what this world follows and what Christians follow under this world, and just how Christians can still operate in the thinking of the world even though they are followers of Jesus. Maybe my knowledge regarding finances is limited, which, it is, but the truth about Jesus and what he had stated, that is the foundational concept that everything is built upon. And it goes to what he had said, that anyone that follows my words and do what they say, they're like a house that is being built upon the rock. The storms of life came and the floods came and it hit against that house, and it did not fall because its foundation was good. But, the opposite of that is anybody that doesn't follow Jesus's words. Everything he said, everything he taught, which is a lot of Christians these days. Yeah, they follow God to a point. But when it comes to finances, that's a hard subject. And a good example of that is, when Jesus wanted the rich man to give up his wealth and follow him. The rich man couldn't because he had great wealth. And it's the same with us. How much love of money do we have in this world? And that keeps us trapped from fully following God. And so, it's the opposite of that, is that anybody that follows any aspect of the world, are they truly following Jesus? And so, so anybody that doesn't follow Jesus's words and holds fast to this world and the world's thinking, they're building their house on the sand. And we know what happens when that happens. So really, that's really what I want to try to do in these videos, is really to expose the thinking that's probably not talked about in a lot of churches. That's not talked about in Christian circles. Christians wake up in the morning and they go on with their lives, following the world and giving no attention to where they're at spiritually in God. So really what I want to do is put, something out for a lot of believers to think about and possibly change. Give them the opportunity to change with any information that I can give. So that's what these videos are about, and maybe there's somebody new that's going to come across my videos and maybe they'll be blessed by them. Maybe it's something that they're looking for. And, maybe God will use these videos to break the chains off a lot of people. Yeah, I don't have anything in this world, but that doesn't stop God from using me. And it doesn't stop his truth from being told. So I'm going to get into the video soon. So I have my notes set up, and I got to park my car before I get into my notebook about it. But that's what I just really pray that these videos will bless people, because this is something that God has taught me. It's something that, has been resonating in me for the longest time. And, I don't want to be like that servant that took his talents and buried it and didn't gain more. That's what I want to do with what Jesus had given me, is to gain more talents, to show people what God can do, to share with people the testimony that I have and what God has done in my life. So let me park the car, and of course I don't know how much memory I have in my phone, so it may cut off, but I can start it, and then I most likely have to do another part to it. This could be like part 1 of that series, and then part 2 will come. So, like I had said, this is the second part of the laws of success, and this is called saving and investing. Ideal Man teaches to look to the future. I mean, we see that example, in what is being told us, saving for the future, investing, having a good 401k plan, so that we can benefit from it later on in life. So, there are different investments that you can get into, and the options are stocks, bonds, gold, and silver. And like I had already said, is having a good retirement plan and, a good 401k in place. So my question is, do these work? And the answer is, of course, because many people have done that through the years. There are a lot of wealthy people out there, that have followed the advice of the ideal man and have benefited from it. So the ideal man knows what works. You can get tips from those that are on the path of becoming the ideal man. They have to have good financial choices in place. They got to follow the advice of what is being told to them in order to achieve that. You get tips on how to, quote unquote, make it in this world. But your focus is on what you have to do financially. And focus is a big thing. And I had said in many of my videos that it's impossible for us to focus on two things at once. You can only do one or the other. So, growing up, time is spent at a young age to find out what our career is. What do we want to pursue and why we want to pursue it. And the answer to why we want to pursue such a career is about how much money we're going to bring in. That is the main aspect. I can't see anybody in this world, going to school. What is their drive in going to school, to college? Well, they're thinking about a career that would bring in a lot of money, and that is the focus about that. Many spend their lives to achieve goals. How much stress and worry in that plague their time? So, I had said in another video that, when I was a kid, I had these books about dinosaurs, and, I could tell you, what the carnivores were. I can tell you what the herbivores were, the omnivores, and, I could tell you, different things about different dinosaurs. And so, I wanted to be an archaeologist. I wanted to do whatever it would take. But through the years, those plans change, depending on time, depending on the circumstances, depending on what you hear, and how unattainable certain goals are. And so, those plans change, and then you make a compromise, and then you make another compromise, and soon you're off the path that you originally wanted to do. So then after I wanted to be an archaeologist, I wanted to be a teacher for an elementary school. After that was moved, I wanted to be a pastor. But because I couldn't get to Bible college, the one I wanted to go to, then I more or less became what Jesus wanted me to become, apart from any kind of Bible college. So I was dealing with different flaws in my own life. And, one of the issues in my life is not only comprehension, but understanding. I don't have the understanding for a lot of these jobs. I recall, working at a paint line company, and, everything was fine until the guy that, normally was in the shipping department, he left on vacation. And so I had to assume his role, and I didn't know what I was doing. I could not understand it. And I recall, while he was gone, I would wake up early in the morning. I would go to bed at night, and then I would wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning thinking about the job, what I had to do. And I was stressed. So I could not sleep. So I'd be up from 3 o'clock, and then I had to leave for work at 6 in the morning. And I was gone until like after 5 p.m. So my whole day was shot. And so I ended up getting terminated from that job. Or I didn't terminate. I think I walked off the job because I just couldn't handle what was going on there. And I was getting nowhere in the company. So all I could basically get, as I was growing was, a cashier job or a retail job. I couldn't get anything beyond that.